Luke's just told me that a snake lives right here.
Yeah, I was just saying to watch your footing because I've seen it there quite a few times.
Tell you what, Luke, you are very attuned to the land to know that snakes, where all these animals, where all this wildlife lives.
Down here, these are all fava beans, and I've sowed these in December last year as a cover crop to basically transform this layer, let nature transform this layer into a better space to grow food this year. Before I started to plant these fava beans, this was just like a neglected piece of ground. So the first stage I'm trying to do is to plant a lot of cover crops. I'll be doing it every single winter, every single year, to just bring more life to the soil. Well, for lots of reasons. Broad beans are a really good one for me that I've chosen here, because I know I can sow these in December, and when there's not much else that's growing, these will be, I'll be able to show you now, these will actually have a whole set of productions here. Broad beans on there, not quite ready yet, but these will be growing when there's not much else growing in the garden, and at the same time bringing life to the soil. Fava beans are actually a really interesting one because they're a nitrogen fixing plant, so they are basically bringing in the atmospheric nitrogen into the soil where the roots are. So when I come around to harvest these, it'll be pretty much the perfect time for me to start sowing my summer crops, so I can come through here and minimally disturb the soil, so not even doing anything major, just chop the roots, chop the stem off here, leave all the roots under the ground to die and decompose in the ground, which is also another good benefit for growing something like this. When you chop it, it dies, then roots will decompose, basically like compost beneath the soil level, and leave little air pockets as well to again just help regenerate the soil faster than if I was just to leave it alone, leave it bare.
How is the soil down here now then?
This soil has always been quite this area has always been quite a nice piece of land. That's why I wanted to turn it into a growing area. The soil is naturally quite rich, black loose soil, whereas higher up the land where I started growing a lot of the annuals closer to the house, that was more compacted clay soil, so I'm having to do a bit more work. Whereas here, even over the years, I've seen this has naturally just had thicker, more lush weed growth than up there, which is also a really good sign for growing food. You want to have an area of ground that's just naturally thriving more.
How tall are these meant to go then?
Well, it depends. Again, it's one of those things, depends. It's also a good indicator of how good your soil is. If your fava beans are growing really tall, you've got some very, very good soil down there. But if you have some really compact, dead soil, you might only grow a few feet tall. These are still growing, these are decent size. They could always be better and better, but that's why I'm planting cover crops here before I plant this year. But also, there's ants crawling over the stems, quite good to see. Also, I should mention as well, there are a lot of other cover crops you could choose to use. Here I've done fava beans for basically like a multi-purpose. One, they are actually good food for self-sufficiency. You're getting a bean at a time of the year when not much else is growing, so you're getting a full crop of something when you wouldn't otherwise. And also, like I said, they're a nitrogen fixing plant. They're not the best at creating a thick mulch, green mulch to chop and drop. They're quite spindly, and I actually did that last year. I chopped and dropped quite a few of these, and I noticed it just left long stems on the ground, like just twigs, basically long twigs, and all the leaves just disappeared quite quick. So it's not like a thick grass. These have not been irrigated at all. That's another reason why it's good to grow cover crops over the winter period where there's naturally more rainfall. You don't have to do anything to irrigate the land.
What about the summer crops here?
Again, it depends how you set it up. There isn't as much of a need to irrigate if you have a thick cover on the ground. So if you're growing your own biomass to chop and drop, or bringing in hay or straw, that kind of thing, and you're planting crops that naturally deal with the more dry, hotter conditions like tomatoes and sweet potatoes, then there's not much need to irrigate. But if I was to grow these just in bare soil, in the hotter part of the year, they wouldn't have a chance. Whereas now they're doing it very easily with no work at all. So once you become attuned to the cycle of your climate, what you can grow at what time of the year, you can actually do it in a way where there's very little human intervention needed to just get the food growing, because nature does it all for you, and usually it does it better. As you can see, that bit is particularly doing very well over there. Some good broad beans going up.
Tell you what, I've never seen a farmer wear a hoodie, Luke.
What's wrong with that?
Is this part of the whole? This is part of the whole farmer style fashion.
What is wrong
You're
with
trying
it?
to promote something here.
Well, it's green, so I'm blending in.
I was going to say, yeah, at least it's green, you're blending in.
Ideally, I would like to have no shirt on, but it wouldn't probably be socially acceptable doing it on the camera right now in a growing video. But ideally, if I'm down here doing anything in the garden, I'll have my shirt off, getting the sun rays on me. Getting healthy at the same time.